Hey everybody, welcome to Absolutely. I'm Sal, that's Hussin. We're talking about the last 3 episodes of X-Men 97, which may be the best thing Marvel has made since No Way Home and Guardians 3.
Easily, indisputably. Like, it's mind-boggling how much we needed a true-to-form superhero soap opera.
It's funny, I saw an article say something like, they didn't forget the melodrama, and I'm like, that is so important because all of Marvel Comics is melodrama. Like, there's only one character I can think of that is absent from melodrama, and even he gets swept up in it too, and it's the Punisher. Like, everybody else, like, there is melodrama, and it's because melodrama is just the drama that we feel, but on people we shouldn't care about. You know, like, if you were to describe the true, real, die in the wool, like, boots on the ground drama that is in your life to someone who isn't in it, that's melodrama. You know what I mean? Like, that's some heavy stuff. And for the X-Men, and I think one of the reasons why there are so many X-Men fans, that melodrama is a key component to that entire franchise.
This has been such a wake-up call to me that, like, I feel like because, you know, Disney's owned Fox for some time now, really haven't gotten anything. I've cared very little about bringing them into the universe, not because I don't think it's a great idea, just because I'm X-Men are on my radar. I haven't been reading X-Men books in a long time. There isn't an animated series right now, or up until recently, that has been anything to write home about. And then this happens, and it's like, oh my God, I love these characters. I can't wait to see them back. And also, Disney looked at this show, and they did what no X-Men property has been confident enough to do. They took Wolverine and made him Wolverine, and he's a side character, and he's not the A guy. He's not number one. Drama's not all about him.
Yeah, well, because he was the main guy, if not in X-Men from 94, certainly for Fox. I mean, like, there's actually a moment in the Deadpool trailer where he says, "You were the X-Man." Like, it's like, because there is no other X-Man anyone would care enough about from the Fox franchise to put in anything. You know, or you go, why didn't you get Wolverine? You know, X-Men 97, they're like, no, Wolverine is great and he's awesome, and he plays as big a role in this as he did in, like, the Joss Whedon run of the comic books, where it's like he likes beer and he shows up.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that. First Class is probably my favorite X-Men movie, if not like one of my favorites. And he's a cameo for laughs, and it's great. And then you get to focus on these characters, really fall in love with them. I can tell you, like, I don't think I really cared much for Charles Xavier or Magneto or any of these side characters. Definitely not Mystique until watching X-Men First Class play back in the day. This feels like that. And yeah, you know, Logan does get a little bit of melodrama in these. He gets a little kiss from Jean Grey, but then unlike our Logan, about to jump the gun on this, he kisses her and he's like, "Jean, you're confused.
Right, watch it.
Watch out there."
He's like, "I want to earn it though." Like, you know, he didn't go into his room and then stroke the picture frame like his meme would often depict. Picture frame. But yeah, no. So X-Men 97, the last 3 episodes, Remember It, Life, Death, Part 2, and Bright Eyes. Obviously, you guys did a full deep dive into Remember It, but, like, just to very casually touch upon it, I got a lot of shades of, like, everything. And it's funny because, like, when you think about, like, the times that X-Men have had a nation or an island or a place that could be considered to be, like, a country, you could count them all on one hand, but it still feels like a lot. And, you know, from asteroids to islands to you know, landlocked areas to living islands, the X-Men have they're no stranger to this concept, and so it feels like they were like, let's doppel all of those feelings and ideas into one place so it has the maximum dramatic effect. And they friggin'
beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Not just that, but also the fact, and it's an ever recurring issue with this show, which is the animation is great. And it is better than it has any right to be. It is better than Marvel has given the credit to its audience to expect, and DC for that matter. And so, like, but it's fantastic. Every time that Nightcrawler comes on the screen, you could tell the animator's having an amazing time just making that work, and also just having fan favorite Nightcrawler finally show up on the show. He's in the old cartoon, but he's woefully underutilized. And he's brought into this one to the point where he's now in the opening credits, which was a tell for me back when I used to watch this old show, when they would introduce new characters, characters that should damn well be on the team, like Iceman or Nightcrawler. I knew, or Colossus. I knew they were never gonna join the team because they're not in the opening. And the opening was like, goes so far as to show you each character and give them a logo for that character.
I mean, every single one of these openings has been updated at least a little bit from episode to episode. We had Madeline Pryor's hair to Jean's hair. Now Jean is rocking a more Madeline Pryor look, so their hair's down again. Little things like that are just attention to detail.
Totally.
The cost that, I mean, most animations recently have been as many cost-saving methods as we can take, and this show's like, no, we're pricey.
Yeah.
You're paying for it.
Yeah. And it's another thing that I'm not used to when it comes to Disney Marvel productions, which is them spending money.
Yeah.
In animation, particularly.
What If looks like a CG animated video game cutscene to me, and I'm not a huge fan of that animation style. And it's like, imagine we got What If in this art style.
Oh my God. I mean, I think people would actually like that show. So anyway, there's Remember It, which of course, like, drops every Mutant Island concept into one place, calls it Genosha because yes, what's more iconic than Krakoa? Genosha, nailed it. We do this whole thing. We got the drama between Rogue and Gambit and Magneto, which works great. My wife and I watched it, and I know she was very disappointed by like Rogue's decision not to go with Gambit, but rather to lead Magneto on for no good reason. You could just say no. You don't have to dance with him, make out with him, and then say no.
Well, I guess when she realized, like, she needed to make out with him a little bit. She needed to have something.
Even if she was going to make that decision from the jump, she's like, I'm about to trade sex for edging for the rest of my life. So I'm going to get at least one more kiss out of this deal.
I'm about to trade sex for edging is the most apt possible way you could describe that.
Right?
And it's the drama of it. I mean, I remember like that they're kissing and he's right in between them, like on the frame of that.
Oh my
God, this is shot so well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
off to the side.
The cinematography on this cartoon show is great. It has, So anyway, it's great, but they get attacked by the Sentinels, and it becomes this huge debacle. Lives are lost, characters are killed, though fewer than I thought.
Apparently, nobody.
Yeah, almost two.
All the no-name characters were killed.
Yep. But you feel it, and the fact is, like, when you read these comics and you watch these shows and movies, I'm actually more surprised when those characters don't come back. And I like this where they're like, yeah, no, we can still feel the stakes of like an assault that is on these people and also not lose more named characters. But the fact that we lost, and spoilers for a episode that is now 2 weeks old at least, we lost Gambit. I can understand the decision and the impulse, because at the end of the day, like, what does Gambit, like, when it comes to story, you're breaking down your story, you got your whiteboards, you got your pins and your yarn, and you're figuring out like everybody's arc, and you figure out what to do. What do you do with Gambit when you got two cool 90s loners on your team? You know what I mean? We don't need him. That being said, he is a fan favorite, beloved character, and I was also sad to lose him. And I feel like if you're going to get rid of him, you might as well have him just go with the Guild of Thieves and come back. Whatever. Killing him, bold move, and also indicated to me that maybe we're heading into some time travel territory. Obviously, Cable's arrival,
right, in the middle of the event.
All right, to be like, we can undo this. So I'm down for that.
Which Cable is voiced by the original voice of Gambit.
For some
reason. They shuffled a lot of voice actors around.
Yeah.
And I think that was a conversation they had where he's like, no, I'm not Cable, I'm Gambit. And then they were like, no, he dies like 3 episodes in. You're Cable now.
Yeah, it's weird, especially because like the guy who played Cable, the Cable voice in the old cartoon is insane. I'm sad we lost it, but it's fine. This Cable's fine. At least he's a character in this one. The other one, he's a joke. Like, he shows up, he's like, I don't care. Where's Adler? And like then just you don't see him again. Or he's fighting Apocalypse. But great episode. A S tier animation. crushes it, makes me want to see Spider-Man 97 more.
Oh my God. Yeah, because Sal had me on another show where I got to throwback, rewatch some old Spider-Man 90s cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
And safely did not hold up at all. Like the stories, what they're telling are cool,
Yeah.
but the pacing is horrific.
It's horrible.
In a crazy way. In the ADR and like all the recording of it, crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to see it in this format.
Me too.
Because spoilers for a little bit, but this universe isn't afraid to tap into the greater Marvel universe, which is a big, big deal.
Oh yeah, the opening shot of this debut of the show is of the Daily Bugle, and for me that speaks that says they're willing to use anyone because of the like nightmare that is Spider-Man usage. Like if you put the Daily Bugle in there, it means then you can casually and easily use Fantastic Four, the Avengers, the Alpha Flight, the Guardians. It doesn't matter. So cool. Let's go. Even if Spider-Man never appears in the show, the Daily Bugle says he's there somewhere. And the fact is, he's on an adventure that has 10 times the melodrama. So he's very busy. But yeah, so that amazing episode. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Life Death came the episode before this. So then the next episode, I love they were like, the A plot is Motendo, and then here's this other story that you'll actually enjoy and care about. And then the next episode they went, and here's part 2, and we're just gonna call it that. And
I will say took me out of it for a little bit. Very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just took a while to watch the Charles Xavier episode and the storm sequence and stuff. I guess I just gotten bored. I don't think it's bad. I think it's beautiful, and I think the way it worked out. I ended up I watched half the episode, dropped it, and then I rewatched all of it, and I liked it more. But I was just so amped on this storyline.
Yeah,
I felt really disappointed that they were jerking me to another area.
Yeah, I hear you. But the Life Death stuff, I mean, like Alison Seeley Smith's voice for Storm and the Adversary is just so freaking cool. I love what they're doing with that. I mean, like not to isolate one particular voice actor, I don't think there is like a dud in this voice cast, except for the elephant in the room. And it's not a dud. It's just it's a kind of like decision that was made that I understand, but upon further consideration, I don't know if it was the right call. But it doesn't change. But it's a gripe. It is not a, and I haven't said who it is yet. But like, it's a gripe. It is not a problem. It's not a deal breaker. It doesn't change anything, and I'm still enjoying the show to maximum effect. That being said, meteor literacy isn't dead. I just have to preface every single opinion I have with
make
more
sure to say it
things.
1,000 times.
But the Charles Xavier Shi'ar stuff, I was like, this is great. Like opening with the Shi'ar, opening in space, dealing with that, Deathbird showing up. I was like, this is amazing. This is exactly what it was like to read the X-Men comics.
Really? God, that was so out of left field. I was like, I thought this dude was dead. Oh my God, when he's in space and he walks now, and he's in a mech suit, and he's sleeping with a hot alien. Okay,
yeah, he's always been sleeping with Lilandra, but like. Somebody else described like, boy, Lilandra really is toxic, since she was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to save him, so goodbye. And she takes him away, fixes him within 10 minutes, and then keeps him as like a sex pet for like years, and then goes, you know what? Actually, you're going to be my like royal concubine from now on. Then her more toxic sister shows up and goes, if he really loved you, he'd get a lobotomy for you. And Lilandra goes, she's got a point.
So right.
She's got a point, actually.
Lobotomize him.
Yeah, actually, it's not enough that I made you abandon your family, but can I take your memories of them too?
Yeah.
Gross.
Fantastic. Horrible. But fantastic.
Yeah. But
all the Omega level mutants are just tossing around in space. What
I know,
the
right?
hell? That was incredible.
Yeah. I love Xavier taking everybody to school. Great moment. Nice little display of like Xavier's powers that don't involve freezing everyone in place.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, and then you move into the B plot where we were addressing the singular, most talked about, hated decision of the show. Turns out it was a narrative decision. Storm's Mohawk.
Oh yeah. So okay, the Mohawk, right? Like, okay. I dig the Mohawk, but it's not my Storm. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That said, the Mohawk, we're getting into weird dicey territory, and that's X-Men for you. But also, like, that's the internet for you. But like, let's table the conversation about black women's hair.
Can we?
Okay. Let's just not
Let's
talk
just
about
not do it.
Let's address the fact that it is a topic and it's not for this kind of show.
Yeah.
There. Now, Storm cut her hair. Storm the character, not the black woman, but Storm the character. She cut her hair to be a mohawk in the comic books as a statement. The Storm in the silver outfit has big, long hair. The decision to make her have a mohawk in that costume at that stage in her life was aesthetic alone and had nothing to do with character, and it's a disappointment.
Yeah.
I think the mohawk's cool, and I think it has a place, and it wasn't there.
Right.
So then she has it, and she did it off screen, and also we dealt with the Morlocks and Callisto and Calypso and everything, and so it's like, oh, okay, Callisto. And so we lose the mohawk situation entirely. We don't get the punk rock look. Then in this, she gets her powers back. Spoilers for everybody. We knew she was going to get them.
Yeah.
But she goes from, and it's weird how they like jump around, because like we go from the Cockrum suit to the punker look to the silver suit. In this one, we bypass the Morlock look. We jump to the 90s look and then slide back to the Cockrum look. Now, I love the Cockrum suit. My wife was disappointed because she likes the silver suit more because she was raised on that cartoon. But like, I get it. And for me, I was like, this is fire.
Right. And well, and as like non-intense comic book reader for X-Men specifically, I love this. Like, I don't know much about Storm's hair. I just thought it was an aesthetic choice more than anything else.
It was purely aesthetic.
And I couldn't care less about it. And then you have this moment where she gets empowered, and anime-style Super Saiyan grows this beautiful, luscious hair out, and then flies and echoes with power. And I was like, this is really cool. I really, really like this.
That's the thing. It was just, it's too cool to care about how it works. That said, folks, in the pilot episode of the X-Men cartoon show for which this is based, there's a sequence where Rogue and Storm are at the mall wearing regular civilian clothes. She calls down lightning and then fires the lightning at her feet and just changes her costume from top to bottom using her powers into her Storm costume. No, that's an anime sequence change and only Storm can do it. I'm okay with that.
Fine by me.
It's actually a callback, folks, that it happened in this means it's just a thing she could do.
Love it. Let's cement that in the books. Canonically, Storm has Piccolo's clothes beam from Dragon Ball Z.
That's exactly it.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It was great. I like I don't know if okay. So the show is choked with melodrama. We've established melodrama is the lifeblood of X-Men. Don't dial it back at all. Forge falling in love with Storm within 2 days of knowing her is a little much. It's asking a lot. I'm down for it because that's how this shit works. Right. But I was like, you could have implied it without actually having him go so far, putting himself out there and making us all kind of uncomfortable.
It felt a little awkward. And then at the same time, they're hot. I guess I'll let them do it.
Beautiful people love each other immediately. I get it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It beats Hollywood couples that have children within 2 minutes of meeting each other.
That's right.
Because you're like, oh, but you're gonna get divorced.
Yeah.
So anyway, hot takes on absolutely. So so at the end of it, obviously, I guess like sound travels slower through space, so or mental powers travel slowly through space, or we're catching up with like the Lilandra plot and the Genosha plot. So Xavier's like, oh, Genosha's dead. F all of you, I'm leaving.
Love it.
I'm loving that too, because I'm like, yes. Yeah, I genuinely was like, I don't think Xavier's coming back in this show. And then they did this episode, and I'm like, oh,
I think Xavier's gonna be back next week.
Exactly. He didn't, but because the next episode
finale is gonna happen. We're gonna
yeah. Bright Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So this was where the show takes a turn, where it goes into its really dark period, and it also addresses my issue that I was talking about earlier with respect to voice actors. Lenore Zann is the best actor to portray Storm in any genre. Her Storm has never been replicated. I'm sorry, Rogue. I'm sorry, I was saying Storm so much. Zann played Rogue in the old cartoon show, and arguably the portrayal in the cartoon show has affected public's perception of Rogue forever. Like every time that comics try to change her up, do things, harken back to her origins, put her in green, there's a large contingent of the fan base that goes, nope, I want her to be Southern Superman. and I want her to have that voice. Got it. And I am one of them. Did I go to school in Virginia because I kind of dug the Southern accent because of Rogue? Maybe. So, like, let's just say that voice has been in my head forever. Being said, I don't know if I like that Lenore Zan is still playing Rogue today. Because they made some significant changes. I mean, like, Holly Chu plays Jubilee now, which was a decision I know was, I've heard was perpetrated by the original actor who was like, I want to be in the show, but I don't want to be Jubilee because I want a person who's actually of Asian descent to play her. Right on.
And Jean Grey, she plays older Jubilee in the sequence or whatever.
In the sequence, which is cool. Jean Grey is just played by iconic and legendary voice actor Jennifer Hale, like we wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Jennifer Hale's playing Jean Grey in this show. The voice actor who played Jean Grey, whose name escapes me at the moment. Wonderful, amazing. I loved her in that show. Again, it's been 30 years, so I understand she's probably going to change sound differently, and they made that decision. I don't know how much of the decision was made by the original voice actor versus the studio, but Jennifer Hale is, it's not like she's 30.
Yeah,
but she's still Jennifer Hale and awesome. I'm down, but I'm also down for Jennifer Hale. That's just if you don't put Jennifer Hale in your project, I don't know what you're doing. But with Rogue, I'm like, it's not the same.
Yeah,
and it's like
some people's vocal cords. So
yeah,
I watched I think it was Seth MacFarlane. They were just talking about the 25th anniversary of Family Guy.
I just saw that too.
Yeah, love that. Well, and I'm a voice actor myself, so it's something that I've noticed in my work, and then the stuff I do on the side of the internet. For those of you who don't know, I have a lot of fans for doing a very weird niche thing where I have a Mickey puppet and I react to videos and whatever. Seth MacFarlane hit on something that was really interesting. That over time, your vocal cords change, and you try to adjust to hit the voice that you used to, and more often than not, you're hitting a higher pitch. You're not hitting your marks the way you used to. Peter Griffin notoriously used to be this really slow talking, like, hey, I'm from Boston. Yeah. And I was like, hey, Lois, I'm up. It's like up here. It goes higher and higher and higher. Same thing for my Mickey voice over the years. It used to be exactly a 1-to-1 recreation of Wayne Allwine, my favorite Mickey Mouse voice actor. And then it slowly but surely needed to be its own thing. And it was I needed to be a lot quicker. So the vocal cords naturally went a lot higher. So in that same vein, you're adjusting for age, because the elasticity of vocal cords for men holds up really, really well for whatever reason. If you have ever been in a church, you'll notice that the old men singing in the church choir sound incredible. They've only developed in their talent over the years, while the women, not for lack of anything other than vocal fry, and that's how that natural degeneration happens.
Yeah.
Vocal cords change a lot. So when you get an actor like Grey DeLisle, who plays like Azula on Avatar and 1,000 other characters, she's much older, but she's managed to maintain her tone. Horrible person, but Tara Strong also manages to maintain her tone. You'll get actors like this who they're really good, but something's different. It's not working the way it used to.
It's not. And by the way, it doesn't take me out, doesn't ruin the show for me.
Not even a little bit.
But it's just not the same. And it's like, I understand because nothing could be, because we've all been chasing Lenore Zan's version of Rogue for 30 years. And then so they're like, well, we'll just get her. And maybe they should have gone with a sound alike. I don't know. But she's doing a great job, and she's given a lot of great material to work with. So it's a trade-off. Could she sound a little younger if it was somebody else? Sure. But being given something really fun and meaty, and especially in this episode where she's out for blood, she's looking for revenge.
This episode works perfectly with her voice, actually. I think this episode with Captain America and all your little moments, incredible.
Yeah.
With her being in this angry, upset, frustrated, emotional state, this grief-stricken state was awesome.
Oh, absolutely. No, the Captain America cameo was spoiled for me, obviously, because we live in a unfair time. But it was still really fun to see. It was still a cool moment. And I liked his involvement. I like the unapologetic introduction of him. I don't know how I feel about the like MCU-esque theme they were playing under him when he was walking around and talking, where I'm like, it's almost like, I'm like, all right, knock it up. I'm not like, look, it's different. All right. But I love that he just shows up. He's just like, yeah, it's me. And they're like, yeah, it's you. And I'm like, yes, that's right. That's Marvel. Like, we get it. We got it 30 years ago. We get it now. Like, we don't need to have Captain America, the super soldier who was frozen from time. There's no moment where she's like, it's not 1984 or 1945 anymore, Captain America. We don't get any of that crap. He's there. He even has like, he even has computer skills. Like, I hacked Trask's network and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Moving on.
Good. Also, love the voice. Love the voice. That's Josh Keaton coming back.
I can't believe that's Josh Keaton.
I know. I was entirely taken back because Josh is a friend. So I knew that he was going to be voicing this character. And then I was listening to it, I was like, did they use a different voice actor? Did he get let go? What's happening here? No, that's just Josh is just capable of that kind of range.
You know what that's because for a second I went, oh, that's too bad because now Josh Keaton can't play Spider-Man in the show. But then it occurred to me that that's not the same Spider-Man. Christopher Daniel Barnes is Spider-Man in the show.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was my initial feeling. I felt the same way. And I was like, I would love that. And I was like, oh my God.
What if they bring back Christopher Daniel Barnes? Oh, they didn't even bring back Christopher Daniel Barnes to play Spider-Man in the goddamn Spider-Man cartoon movies that they've made.
No, they bring him back in the video games all the time.
And he's good. He does a good job.
He did a great Miguel O'Hara in that one game too.
Yeah.
But, my God. Just
they asked the showrunners. Yeah. Mary Jane, shocker. They asked them if he was going to show up and they were like, just wait and see. And I'll bet like there's a big moment in like the finale where like all the heroes show up.
I love it.
And Spider-Man says one thing, like, whoa. But anyway, the Captain America cameo is, of course, like all good shows that are about something or about characters. The cameo is there to allow for a character that we are supposed to follow and care about to bounce thoughts and ideas off of in a scene that is relevant to the plot. And then he goes away and the story is still about the main character of this episode, which is Rogue. So like, boom, Captain America shows up and then he's gone. It's not like Captain America steals the show. It's not like
not even a little bit.
He's a cog in this machine that is demonstrating an X-Men story, and I'm so here for it.
Rogue does one of the funniest things anyone's ever done. Just chucks his shield to the middle of nowhere.
I have to go get that now. It's just me. I can't fly, right?
So I'd love I wish they did like an after credits of Steve just trudging around the fort.
Yeah.
Where is it?
With like a metal detector just walking around the woods.
Beep, 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 beep.
That'd be awesome. Or he's like, Wolverine, I need you to find something for me. He just has his shield pack. He's like, smell this and look for it. So yeah, they go track down Bolivar Trask. I was like, what is it? Okay. This also introduces another villain where they were introducing this whole mystery. They get the X-Men together, they team up, they suit up. It's awesome. Great moments. Who cares? Moving on. They go and infiltrate the location they need to go to get the blah, blah, blah. Like it's a Law and Order episode. Get the guy to get to the guy to get to the guy. And, but what matters is that friggin' Bastion is in this show. And I went, oh no. Like, first of all, Bastion sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But he won't suck like he did in the comics because they know what to do with him here, as opposed to when they invented him and they weren't really sure. If you're not familiar with Bastion, he was created for an X-Men event back when they were like, we still need to keep making events, called Operation Zero Tolerance, which, oh, look at that! OZT, the 3-letter acronym that's all over the materials in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what's going on? I don't recommend you read Operation Zero Tolerance because that sucks. But maybe Mara will be in this show. But yeah, Bastion. I don't know who plays him, but I'll have to look it up because he's great.
Yeah.
Like the use and voice, it's Theo James. He's awesome.
That was really, the sequence was fantastic.
Yeah. No, I know. And it revealed another secret, which again, I don't want to get into too heavy in spoilers, but like, it came out last week. He's, there's a survivor from Genosha. And he's going to be...
And it's not Leech. Sorry, guys.
Leech.
I know.
Sorry, I think Leech definitely died. but yeah, the use of Bastion, the definition of him, the implications thereof, because we're like, oh my god, like, we got these Sentinels. I think we saw Nimrod in the opening credits of one of these episodes recently. Um, so we know we're going in that direction. Like we know we're going to be dealing with Super Sentinels and Hyper Sentinels, and obviously, of course, Bastion is one. But like, we're dealing with Nimrod. We're dealing with time travel. Cable's here. He's on the team. He's with them. We also reveal that Cable is actually Nathan sent back from time. Like, I'm like, this is all awesome.
This is great. I just like the show.
Yeah, I just like the show. Yeah.
I thought about it in the car the other day. It breaks my heart that this is a seasonal show, because in my brain, the way that it feels, it's like how TV used to be, where a show is just on and episodes were airing. Because I guess maybe it's because I was a kid, but I don't remember there being season blocks. I was like, X-Men 97 every Saturday, maybe 2 Saturdays wouldn't happen, and then another one kind of thing. But obviously rerun territory, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I'm so sad the show isn't going to be on for another couple weeks.
I know. Oh, dude, I'm sad that it's going to take them 2 years to make another season of the show, because it took them, like, this kind of animation doesn't come cheap. It doesn't come fast. So it's either going to come expensive and cheap, or it's going to come expensive and fast, or bad and cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put it past Disney to go, well, we fired the guy who was behind this entire show's origins, this particular season's origins.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get the What If guys to make it.
That would suck. They actually, thankfully, he did finish season 2 before he left, before they fired him.
Good. Okay.
So Disney would be insane and stupid not to bring him back for 3, or at the very least, put him in the movies. Put him to the movies. And that's been a discussion too that Kevin Feige has tossed around, that like, should we bring X-Men 97 into the MCU as another Earth, cast actors and characters to play these roles? It's like, yeah, kind of. You created the definitive X-Men. Do it.
We'll just say it is. Like, you don't need to make it weird and and cast Cal Dodd, put him in some insane costume. Like, no, just say, yeah, no, animation is still a multiverse. It's still part of it. And then just move on from there. Like, you don't need to I don't need to see it all on my screen. I understand that it's there. It's out there. More like what I was sad about was that he was like, no, it's part of the multiverse. I'm like, no, take some P's and Q's from this and put it in your movies. You want people to because I mean, look, some of people's favorite moments from Endgame are essentially melodrama.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of spectacles
paid off.
Yes, it's conversation. It's these little moments, like Tony and Steve sitting and having a talk in front of the future Audi or whatever, which I guess was supposed to come out this year, 2024. Here we are. No Audis for us, but that conversation's worth more than 10 of everything else going on. Like the little jokes and moments that are just intimate characters. And this show is that. It's intimate characters, and it's why we love it. And they would be criminal to not take cues from it. I don't know if you noticed, and maybe you've seen the Twitter discourse since then, but the episode where the disaster happens, we do get a Watu. We get a Watcher in the sky.
I saw Watcher. My wife pointed him out when we first watched. She was, did you see him? I'm like, see what? Watch it again. I'm like, oh, and it's not. He doesn't look exactly like the Jeffrey Wright Watcher, so I'm like, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
But I loved seeing Watcher in that, because I knew once Watcher was there, I'm like, oh, they're all gonna die. Like, it's gonna be significant.
Yeah. Well, and also here's the question: is that our Watcher from the MCU? Is that version of it? Who knows?
Right?
Who knows?
He didn't say anything, and he was outlined, so it works for me. I'm happy with either. I'm happy with him being like the Watcher. I'm happy with him being the Watcher for this universe. I don't care. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Well, and then emotional melodrama. Somebody in our chat just reminded Scott crying over Madeline Pryor is like an incredible moment. Jean comforting him. Emma Frost being alive and having diamond powers. Cool. She's hot. Awesome. Big fan.
Cool. Well, and like you could do good. You didn't kill her, so you could do other cool stories. Unfortunately, you also stole the moment where he's mind cheating with Emma on Jean. But in this, he's mind cheating with Madeline on Jean, and he's not even really banging her. He's just mind parenting. Like, it's really weird, creepy, and cool, and it works really well. I'm like, this is awesome.
Makes us like feel more for the character, because that's the thing Invincible story has been doing a lot in these most recent seasons, where they're taking things from the comics and they're like, we maybe made our characters feel a little shittier than they should. I don't want there to be ambiguity of whether they did the right thing or not in this regard. There's going to be other places we want gray. This is not one of those areas. We don't want them to be cheating in such an open and overt way. It's crazy. Like Scott crying over Madeline, you feel that. rightfully so. That is the mother of a child. It is a clone. And we do need to feel bad for real Jean Grey to have to go through this also because she's going through her own thing. But oh my God, mother of his baby died.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
potentially.
But yeah, cool stuff. You know, can't wait for more. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I saw a clip from the next episode, more Cable. I'm like, I'm ready for this. I'm so on board, and I love the compression. You know, like X-Men stories. One of my major problems reading X-Men in the comics, and one of my major critiques of the old show, was actually one of the things they celebrate now, which is the previously on X-Men, where I was like, oh my God, another Phoenix Saga episode. When are we going to get back to just being the X-Men? I'm so sick of seeing Jean go, Scott, and then exploding into a bird. This show is like, oh yeah, here's E for Extinction in friggin' 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
Love it.
my God, how fast did they go? It's awesome. But it like takes everything you like, and it's like, look, if you want more, they made a comic book you love and you're complaining about right now. Go read it.
Yeah, do that. Show's perfect. I mean, like it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And the 10 is just because there are a couple episodes that I personally fell out of. That's not like a super score of what I think it should be rated. That's my personal rating of it.
It's just because Motendo exists.
Yeah.
And by the way, that episode's fun, but I'm like, but I know how long it takes and how much money it costs and how hard it is to make the show. And I'm like, oh, we could have had another cool episode instead of half a cool episode.
And Motendo,
with Motendo. That said, funny, self-referential. I dig it. I was happy with it. I wasn't mad. It's just like, look, if you put gun in my head, what's the weakest episode? Obviously, it's Motendo.
Yeah.
Also,
agreed.
it's a Sega Genesis, and they're calling it Nintendo.
Love it.
You don't even know what you're doing.
No clue.
Yeah.
But they know everything else, and that's what we're here for. Thank you guys for enjoying our 36-minute podcast episode style on X-Men. You guys wanted to hear Sal's opinion, so we had to give him room to get it all out there. And we'll be back next week covering the finale. I think it is the finale.
No, it's 10 episodes.
Oh, not the finale. Yes. Okay, we'll be back covering next week's episode. Until then, we've been Absolutely, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.